14 months apparently. Woo.
everyone, and welcome to the stream. I am your host, Nessie, the captain of this ship, and welcome back, everyone! It is good to be back in the hot seat. It's good to be back at the helm, to be able to stream again. Thank you, everyone, for your understanding, as well as your well wishes. To anyone who doesn't know, I had COVID. And then I have now a secondary infection that I am taking care of, but it's fine. I am healing. I am a lot better than what I was. So we are now back. We are now here to continue House Sanguinis. This is a good place to start, as this has a lot of excitement and daring and so much more. I think everyone is ready for sessions to be back. A lot of my players have been cooking, and a lot of them, I think, are ready for this campaign to continue. I worry about some of them and what they have planned and created. You know, there are some of my players I genuinely worry about, and stuff like that, and what they might come up with. So, let me bring everyone in. Hello, everyone.
Hi, there she is.
Hello.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, bien.
Bueno.
Yes. Is everyone ready for today's session?
No,
Let's
but
do
do it anyway.
Just hit us already.
Let's do this.
We've waited long enough.
We have
waited all
waited a
day.
very, very long time. We will do a light recap as it has been requested. As last session, you all kind of split up in your separate groups. Half of you going to the Council of Light, in other words, the Sealy Court. You guys went there to possibly find more information about possible avenues to head into the Feydark and what perils may await you there. But on the other side, the group of hunters decided to stay back and wait for their fellow hunter, all while finding more information out about a variety of different names that could pose interesting dilemmas for your group. Potential names that are connected to your allies. So, we find ourselves back at Club Euphoria. On the second floor, in the little hole that you guys find refuge in quite often, Jonathan, you had asked Violet's parents to step out temporarily while you all discussed the various information that you had received when your phone starts to ring.
Do I have caller ID? Like, do I know the number?
Yeah, when you look at it, it is Christian's number.
Oh, finally. So I answered the phone.
When you answer it, it's kind of staticky, like he is going through an area that you can't exactly hear well. And it's slightly broken in the beginning where you just kind of hear,
Discord is really helping with that.
Discord is actually telling me actually right now.
That is best timing.
All
That's
times
good
for
advice.
Discord to be itself.
Yeah.
Oh, we love it. We love this.
Anyway.
The static continues as you listen, and Finally, the call just hangs up.
So, Christian had an uncomfortable encounter with bad reception, it seems. Hopefully, he'll find a cell phone tower wherever he is. Hopefully, he has those wherever he is. Never know nowadays.
Valerie kind of looks at you with an raised eyebrow. He didn't have connection? Wasn't he just going to the Hunter Society?
Technically. And also, he did have connection. It was just, horrible. If he doesn't call back in the next hour, I'll start getting worried.
Could I roll to see if there would be to know if there would be anything that normally would interfere with phone connection at the Hunter Society?
Ooh, I would say either Arcana or History.
I believe that's the same roll for me either way, but I was thinking more along the lines of mundane things, so I'm gonna make this a history roll even if it's the same number.
Could be an int roll instead.
Or Intelligence. It could be flat Intelligence.
Okay, so I can
Wisdom
either have
or wisdom.
I can either have intelligence with a skills modifier or just flat intelligence.
I wonder which one to go with here.
I don't think it's...
Do you want to try that raw intelligence now?
I am going to leave the roll as it is.
Okay.
Take the L.
Take the L. So, with the Hunter Society, it depends on which Hunter Society he went to. Many of them tend to not be in very populated places. That's kind of the whole aspect of hiding things from the mundane. They like to keep hidden. So yeah, that's like the biggest thing about Hunter Societies.
Yeah, but even still, I'd sort of assume that if you have a base in the middle of nowhere, you'd get some proper cell service there, because this is the 21st century after all.
Yes, but consider this is America.
I have better
This
cell phone
is
reception
the
there.
Seattle area.
It
No,
can't
my
be
point-
much
my
worse
point-
than Germany.
My point being, this is America, and they have de facto monopolies.
Merca.
I
Actually,
imagine.
cell service is one of the only things that isn't monopolized.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, I did send Christian off to spy, but I didn't tell him where to spy, so he's more or less free to move. He's a big boy, he can handle it. So.
You feel your phone vibrate.
Okay. Is it a message from Christian?
It is not. It's a message from Gerald.
Oh no.
And what does it say?
We need to meet sometime.
Going to go for the inconspicuous answer of has something come up?
You get-
Perfectly by the book.
Yeah, you get a quick response. Yes. Something that we need to discuss alone.
Is it related to my current mission?
Do you send that?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm being yelled at. I'll be back.
What was that, Nessie?
He said yes.
Okay, where and when?
you pick location just soon.
How far away is the nearest hunter's headquarters thingy?
For you, it would be a quick drive.
Alright, so if I just say like a reasonable amount of time in the future at the hunter headquarters, then
Yeah, it would be reasonable.
I feel like the hunter headquarters is a fairly safe spot to do it because we're surrounded by other hunters, and I know for a fact there's at least one other faction in that headquarters that is not aligned with Gerald, so you're a lot harder to pull off any shenanigans.
Mhm. And you can still make it look like you're not in the know of him being wanting.
I'm a perfectly law-abiding hunter going back to the local hunter headquarters to have a discussion about my current mission with my direct superior. Nothing suspicious happening here, no sir.
Plus, it gives me an excuse to tag along at least to the place.
Yeah, you know, we can arrive together and you can just, quote-unquote,
Fuck
split
off.
off and go do something else and then actually turn around 2 minutes later and follow.
Okay, so do you send that information to Gerald?
I just tell him, like, at some reasonable point in the future at the hunter's headquarters.
Okay. He responds with, I can meet this evening.
Right. He just sends, like, a thumbs up emoji. Right, well, Gerald wants to meet up in person, which is not at all suspicious. I'm gonna have to head to the local hunter's headquarters this evening. I should return alive.
Valerie snorts a little. Should?
Well, you never know. The hunter's headquarters might explode. I might trip on the way there, but I highly doubt he's going to murder me in the middle of the hunter's headquarters.
Stub your toe, kick a desk, any number of things.
Also, like, out of character for a moment, the fun thing is if Gerald tries to expose Jonathan for anything, Jonathan has way more dirt on Gerald than the other way around. And I'm not sure if Gerald is aware of how much fucking dirt Jonathan has on him at this point.
Not to mention, basically, if Gerald tries to do anything, you can immediately re-expose him to the Hunter Society and completely trash all of his plans.
Yeah, and theoretically, like, if it comes down to it, I can always claim that I'm, like, on a mission from fucking Anastasia or something, because she would probably back me if I went, yeah, I'm investigating someone for corruption. So, you know, backup plans, fellas. Have them.
Always.
Upgrades, people. Upgrades.
Anyway, yeah, we've got some time to kill before we need to go there, so hurry up and wait, I suppose.
Should we potentially question Ian?
On what grounds? What exactly is he going to know about Gerald's movements?
True.
Or are you talking about something else?
I'm more concerned with the fact that he was listed as a possible enemy.
Ian? Or...
Yeah, Phaler was on that list.
To be fair, a lot of people are on that list.
True.
And on our example, we know that to end up on that list, you don't even need to be aware that you're an enemy. He may have just accidentally stepped into something he should not have stepped into. Wouldn't be surprising considering his luck.
We should probably then let Violet's parents have the room.
Alright. Well, we're getting up. Best get ready.
Okay. Where do the three of you head?
Oh no, just wondering. Not like we have anything particular. We are literally just waiting for more information, and at this point, waiting to meet up. So I guess I could spend some time like concocting some pseudo useful information in case Gerald quizzes me on what I've been doing.
Okay.
Artfully pre-phrasing certain things that it sounds like I was pursuing my actual mission instead of my pseudo new mission that I'm actually pursuing right now.
Okay.
I guess I'll help Jonathan out with the believability of his.
Of his
You know,
lie.
the trick is to not lie. Because, we could absolutely frame a lot of the things we did as pursuing our original goal of investigating disappearances here. Like our ambush of people at that warehouse. Maybe we suspected them to be involved, and then we investigated. We found some ties to other groups. It's looking like a wonderful investigation, bit longer than expected, but Jonathan's doing his job as he always does. Why would you suspect anything else?
Okay. So the group of you head over to the other room to kind of concoct ideas of how to approach Gerald. To the other group. The group of you inside the library, searching around, looking for books of possible information. After a little bit, you hear a knock on one of the tables near you. Someone getting your attention.
Look towards the knock.
You guys see Liza. Jameson.
Who?
Neraina's old friend and teacher.
Oh.
Hi, Liza. Wasn't expecting to see you here. Or were they here the whole time and I just forgot?
Well, it's good to see all of you here.
Yep.
Yes. We're we've just a lot of things have just happened.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
Care to fill me in?
I'm not entirely certain we can. All of this is incredibly recent.
I think Violet will start listing off some of the bullet points that they've been discussing, and the main ones being let me think back. Being looking for Kaname, potential wild hunt happening, and introducing her to Amara, who I assume is still on the table?
Yes.
Okay.
Not to mention a bunch of potential other concerning bits of information from the Fey equivalent of open source intelligence. A bunch of very, very concerning mana readings in certain areas of the Fey Dark.
Actually, now that I think about it, Neraina,
Mm.
you said that you were going to contact Miss Jameson about something. Remember when...
Specifically about this, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yes,
she's
about
here
the...
now.
That is a brief out-of-character reconfirmation that Nessie might know. This was about the sort of the magic clash that we saw in the maps, right?
Yes.
No, it was... Well,
Well,
yes
part
and
of that.
no.
Well, the stuff we
The other
wanted to talk
thing-
to her with. Because I'm struggling to remember what it was.
I remember. It was what could Kaname potentially want with the magic that is being siphoned from the fairies?
Mhm.
Neraina will ask.
Yeah.
We'll say that all that to Liza.
I'm going to go grab a couple of the relevant pages from the document so that I can, from the table, so I can go ahead and present them.
Siphoning of fairy magic.
Hmm.
Yeah.
More importantly, specifically fairy magic, but only from denizens of, if not specifically the Feywilds, then anyone who is not a resident of the Feydark.
My understanding is fey magic, pixies, etc. It's wild magic, essentially. It's chaotic magic. It's not like how do I explain this? As a teacher at the magic school, my magic is very refined, very concise, very specific. I don't have a lot of skills outside of my given school. Minus my, of course, craftsmanship that I have with working with you, Neraina.
Mm-hmm.
Mages don't have a lot of magic outside of that, but Fey, when you are Fey-blooded, your magic can be very chaotic at best. It's...
So potentially, when you say chaotic, potentially it could be used for a variety of things.
Yes.
I mean,
Instead of
look
just
at what
one
happened.
instead of just one specific school of magic per se.
Are you thinking a mana bomb?
I mean, look at what happened when I lashed out at Owen. Like 2 thorn whips. Usually I can only conjure 1. I conjured 2. I can't do that unless under very specific circumstances, but when I got angry and snapped at him, it was like a bomb went off.
Mm.
Hey, wait a second. Do we have any detailed maps of that specific region around here? Like, like zoomed in, high detail maps of the region where we have that mana boundary.
I don't think we found one.
There's
we had this-
really nothing detailed. Something to note about the Feywilds is it's ever-changing.
Of course it
Mhm.
is.
The ground itself is a living being. Magic is everywhere you walk here.
All right, so potentially the magic can be used for anything Kaname could want, possibly multiple things all at once. That's disturbing.
Well, okay. And she's not Fae, she's Fomorian, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's Fomorian.
So, her wanting the chaos of Fae magic in a way makes sense, but like it's unpredictable. Why would you want to like what could you have to gain from wild magic aside from a headache?
Again, it could be
Miss-
used for anything, and perhaps, and I am throwing out ideas here, so take this as you will.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps chaos is just what she wants to cause to throw people off.
Miss Professor, I apologize for not immediately remembering your name.
You can just call me Lysa, dear.
Lysa.
Most people do.
Could there be any... Wild magic is inherently chaotic and unpredictable. However, is it possible that this has something to do not with it being wild magic, but rather who it was taken from. I'm thinking signatures. Is it possible that what the magic does isn't important, just that it came from the right person? Or people? Because we also shouldn't discount the fact that just because their hunt is indiscriminate doesn't mean they aren't also filtering whose mana goes where once they're back in Fomorian territory.
Potentially.
Potentially.
But again,
I'm-
a Fey magic is chaotic.
That's fine. That might not be like what it does isn't important. It might be
Fair
the
enough.
reason they're harvesting the magic is they need a certain identity of wild magic that it can get through protections, and then it can cause chaos on the other side. Doesn't matter as long as it's doing that.
Also a
I-
potential.
So I'm gonna ask a couple of questions because I just thought of this. Amara, do you mind me asking you a couple of questions?
She kind of looks up at you and shakes her head.
You mentioned that she was siphoning magic from Aurelia. Is she siphoning magic from just her or others like her, like everyone? Or is it just specific people?
Everyone.
Everyone, okay, so
There's,
she's indiscriminate.
There's hundreds, if not thousands of Fae. Animals, creatures, fairies like me.
Are there any obvious categorizations, as in are similar individuals kept in similar areas with how they're stored? Is there any? Is it random?
I don't know. I'm sorry, I just don't know.
That's fine.
That's
fine,
okay.
don't worry.
That's okay. We're
Alright.
just trying to get all the information that we can.
You've already provided us with so much diffusions.
Mhm.
It's fine. Everything more is just more cherry on top.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So she's indiscriminate in who she is siphoning from. So there goes my theory.
They could still have multiple. Just because the people aren't stored in different areas doesn't rule out the possibility of intermediate filtering. Just means that they might have a more advanced way of doing it, which concerns me
Potentially.
further. Because that
Maybe.
means they've thought this even more through.
Well, either way, it's if it's Fey magic that she's looking for specifically, then that kind of worries me.
If it doesn't take us too long, it might be prudent to, if not briefly, if only briefly, scout the concerned area on the map, at least from afar. See if we can identify anything obvious that will come in useful later. At minimum, we can identify
that
if they're already
could
moving
be-
pieces in place.
That could be extremely risky.
Yeah.
That's why I said
My-
from afar. It's still likely to be less risky than walking up to the castle itself, given that Koname is fully aware of the fact that we are coming.
Is she?
Might. Of course she is. I'll be honest, I'm only half convinced that Koname didn't let Amira leave. Every single thing I know about Koname screams to me that she knows we're coming. So we need to find a way to turn that on her on its head. Beat her at
I
her own
wouldn't.
game.
I wouldn't discount it. Don't know much about Kaname, but at this point we can't discount anything.
Which is why I'm saying, if only remotely, if only from far away for a brief
I-
inspection, it could be useful to visit it, as long as it doesn't take us too long.
I would. I almost want to wait until Jonathan and Owen rejoin us and see what
Oh,
they think about
definitely.
that. I
Of
think
course,
we all
I'm
need
just
to.
throwing out ideas, but
We
we're not.
all need all the information. Whatever Jonathan and Owen have found, we need to know. They need
Mhm.
to know what we've found, and
We can't
then
cement any
and then we
plans
talk to them
until
because
we get
I
that.
think if we were to scout, I think Jonathan and Owen would be the Jonathan especially would be the one to ask how to plan to do something like that. It seems like something that he'd be good at.
Potentially. I mean, I'm not aware if he's even been to the Feydark.
Well, even if he hasn't, he might have an idea of what we sort of thing we can, how we can act, what we can do, how to scout. I don't know about you. I don't really know anything about that.
I stalk, I don't scout. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, we'll all
Nonetheless, we do
hopefully
need
be
them back to make a plan.
yes. Hopefully we will be reunited soon. Hopefully Caro can find his mother and talk to her and get either some more information or just whatever she can offer, and then he'll come back and talk to us about that or whatever will happen. Oh, there's so many moving pieces and we can't see hardly any of them.
I don't know why, but for some reason the whole mana bomb theory is sticking with me. I don't know why.
I'm still of the same opinion that, regardless of the circumstance, harvesting, as we know now, mana from thousands and thousands of people, from a few rudimentary calculations that I can think of. Well, also we've got to question, how are they storing that much mana? Because then we have two questions: are they storing the mana? Because if they're harvesting thousands, that is a lot of mana to harvest. Perhaps they're crystallizing it instead of having it stored in a dedicated medium. That way, they don't have to
Perhaps
continually recharge a battery of sorts. Or perhaps it's being immediately used for something else, which is more
yeah.
concerning. In either case, with magic like that, they could rapidly approach the power level of a 9th level spell, if not higher. Which is vastly
Roll
concerning.
me an Arcana check. Anyone who
Oh.
is thinking
Me
about
too.
this.
Oh, I'm good at
15.
Arcana, so I'm good at
Oh boy.
hopefully if I don't 23.
23, nice. This would make sense actually because it's sort of in the vein
19.
of Artifice, which is your specialty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Silric is very good at
RTW.
Arcana, so I'm not gonna.
So,
Yeah, no, he's not really very good.
Do
at
we
that,
all
so.
succeed?
you all succeed,
Woo!
which is
Yay!
nice.
Excellent.
Tanwin, as you start to think about this, and as you bounce ideas off of each other, Neraina, as he starts to describe possible crystals of using them to hold magic within them, you've seen similar things be done because Liza has done similar things where she has infused spells into crystals. You have witnessed things like this, as you have seen things like magical stabs that hold charges of spells within them. Violet,
Mm-hmm.
you've seen Kaname in the past do something very similar. She has a crystal around her neck that she uses to cast spells from.
Guys, I just realized something.
So did I. Liza, you've done stuff like that.
I have, yes. My own
This
necklace.
is entirely. Yeah, this is entirely possible.
Kaname's arcane focus, what she casts spells from, is a magic infused crystal that she wears on a necklace.
So that would
seen
mean
it.
this is a reasonable way for her to have obtained her original crystal, which makes it. What kind? Can you remember anything about that crystal? Any
Can I?
specialties? How much anything mana related? How powerful did it feel? Did it feel like it was purely a crystal? Was there something embedded in it?
Nessie.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot remember.
Not
Damn.
even a history check.
I give both Tanwin and Violet the history check.
Alright.
As you
Okay,
both
what
Yep,
is?
That's fair. I don't think Neraina's ever seen Kaname, so
Natural
I would
20.
hope not.
Whoa!
Oh.
We love the nat 20s.
Date. Never mind.
Violet, you have had close up and personal experience with Kaname. You remember her having this onyx looking crystal upon her neck, but as you remember looking closely at it, it seemed to have these reddish swirls within it with a variety of gold sparkles that seemed to glitter and light it up. Specifically, when she casted magic, it seemed to have an eye within it.
Ooh.
I would. I assume.
Okay.
Does Violet relay this?
I'm gonna relay that.
Okay,
It was only
Mhm.
the eye would only show up when she casted spells though.
Correct.
Okay. Does that sound like anything I know? Can I check for that?
You have never seen magic like this.
How about read about?
Ooh.
Because remember, I'm 117, and one of Crow's biggest hobbies was basically whenever he saw a new library along his travels, he'd make a note of it and he'd go and visit it and read through a bunch of stuff.
You've never seen anything like this.
And nothing I've read sounds like it.
Lysa, by chance, do you know of anything like this? Have you made something like this for a client or read about it at all?
Can't say I have. I try to
Good.
stay away from dark magic,
Okay.
and that
Could-
sounds dark.
Just on the off chance, could Neraina make a check to think that if maybe she saw Thulbrek ever making something like that, or if he ever talked about stuff like that?
I'm gonna say no.
I
Worth a
don't.
try.
Okay,
Worth a try.
so hypothesis: dark onyx, dark crystal, red swirls, golden sparkles that form an eye when cast. This could possibly one option is this could be some form of hybrid warlock focus, possibly linking her powers to a patron or other entity of similar function. Or alternatively, this is another one of her abominable suffering-born creations. It would match the darkness being the onyx darkness of the crystal being, I'm guessing, a majority of Fey dark magic forming the structure, the mana structure of the crystal, the blood being a rather tasteless symbolism for the suffering through which it was extracted, and the gold being representatives of the pure mana that she was able to extract from Fae to form the core of this focus. My concern is twofold. One, this crystal could have something like, so as it serves, this is a catalytic focus. It is not consumed. I worry that perhaps these crystals do have a function to consume themselves and massively boost a spell. And if she seeks to mass produce them, that could be a problem, either because she plans to mass cast a bunch of her own spells, or because she intends to arm a large amount of high level casters, or turn a bunch of low level casters into high level casters, which could equally spell a large amount of problems for any defending army if they have to deal with the entire army full of strategic level casters. Next,
Could I make
yes.
Nessie, this is out of character. Could I make the argument that Violet would know if Kaname is either a natural born caster, a warlock, or something akin to a wizard, since she has most likely been around all three with her time in the Coven?
You do not know.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I would know, as I have made it my life's mission to find every piece of information I could the second she kidnapped my family.
You would not know.
I
So
can't
it
roll
wouldn't
for that.
surprise. It wouldn't be a surprise to me if she was in fact a warlock, considering who she hangs around.
Have I seen her cast any? Have I seen her use any spells that are class locked?
You
As
have
an
no idea.
indication. Alternatively, she could be planning to upgrade her focus to allow her to cast a next level ritual, either locally or on site at this. It still boils down to we have more ideas. We're not anywhere further than we were.
No, we need the other information. We need everyone here, and then we need to figure out a plan.
We need to get
I think-
stronger.
That too.
That is.
We need to know how to, we need to know how we can combat wild magic, because wild magic isn't something that you want to fuck with. Hello, ticking time bomb.
From here, though.
How about we go look for a couple books for that?
Okay. So while you guys search for books, Caro, roll me one more survival check.
Did you fail the last two?
Okay, first off, I didn't fail the second one. Second off, may I state the means I'm using to find them?
Okay, yeah, sure.
I am searching for the single largest grouping of magical presence,
Okay.
because that feels appropriate when looking for a fairy queen.
Makes sense, yeah.
You're gonna land in like a wizarding orgy or something.
Oh God.
Never known the Feywilds.
Don't
Blech.
even say it.
Or he's gonna end up coming back to our room.
The highest concentration of
I-
magic is just us.
I
16.
Glasgow
not
four
you.
corners.
With a 16, as you kind of stumble through the halls, you find yourself again in front of the large golden plated doors. These giant double doors that are encrusted with various gemstones and lined with a beautiful gold and silver leaf. As you walk by it, you feel this pulse of strong magic come from behind the door. And as you go to walk towards it, opening the door is your mum.
What's up?
You say that?
Wait, the reason
Yeah.
like is your mom.
She kind of gets startled by you for a second, blinks twice, and then sighs.
Surprise, your son's come for a visit.
Unannounced visit.
I can
That's the best kind.
I can
It's
see.
like a lot like this.
There's a lot going on right now.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Yes, there is.
Why are you here?
looking for information on certain Fomor.
Why?
One of them needs killing.
Please tell me you're not talking about Kaname.
She needs killing. She was on the table anyway, but the schedule got a little accelerated. Seems pretty standard for the last half a year.
Yes, it certainly seems like it. So what information do you need?
Well, for the most part, we've got some, but we also have information that needs to be raised to the court level, and I need some favors.
I see. Well, thankfully, court has been called.
Oh,
But not for a good reason.
what's the reason this time?
I'm half tempted to hide you away from the court. You wonder.
For what purpose? They already know I exist.
No. You killed the son of Mab?
Yes, that did happen.
They're asking for your head.
They can fuck off, I don't have time.
But also, that was an honorable duel, and they said yes.
I killed him in a honorable duel, and it was my only out.
Apparently,
Had to happen.
Mab is taking offense. And there are a variety of
Mab
different...
agreed to it.
Apparently, she's
Mab
having
agreed.
second thoughts then.
Oh, for
That's not
fuck's
how
sake.
that works. Let me guess. The court wants to abdicate and give her whatever the fuck she wants.
They're arguing about it.
How can they?
Well, it's a court.
Do
There are
you have are there other heirs?
not necessarily, and yes. Because remember, I have 2 siblings. I may be the eldest.
Oh yeah, by the way, side note. Thanks for telling me that I had more family.
Slipped my mind. I'm not often here within the Sealy Court, as you can tell.
Yeah.
I have my own city to run.
Yeah. Yeah. What would it take to get those against me keeping my head appeased?
That would be a good question. You're not here alone, are you?
Of course not. Couldn't
Good.
be alone if I wanted to.
I would gather up your friends, and I can bring you to the court. I think this can be expedited quite quickly.
Most likely. Before we do that, how many spell scrolls does the court have? Of disintegrate.
Of disintegrate?
Yes.
I should stop asking why, shouldn't I?
Knowing could be dangerous.
You are my son.
I've got shit to do and disintegrate would help.
Well, I'm not exactly sure if we have specifically disintegrate, but I'm pretty sure that our court mages could potentially get some created. It would take time.
As expected, we need time to get better anyway.
Disintegrate is not an easy spell to learn, nor to replicate.
I'm aware. But I'm gonna need as many scrolls of it as I can get my greedy hands on.
Go gather your friends and I'll see what I can do.
Alright.
Also, they might have more out of character. They might be more convinced to give us scrolls once they learn what we learned.
I have a specific reason for that specific spell. Anyway, return to library.
As you enter the library, you see the back of Liza Jameson.
How is it that you are everywhere that we end up?
Neraina's gonna look at him and go, "The fuck? Wasn't she here? In this area anyway?"
Last I knew, she was in Astrazalian. Before that, we have encountered her in, as I recall, imprisoned in the basement of the magic school.
Uh-huh.
In the Unseelie Court. In Ilsatora. In Astrazalian, and now here. How the fuck do you end up everywhere we go?
Bro is going to get a tiny bit suspicious.
You can blame your mentor, Hendeft.
Of course she's here too.
She is the problem here out of the two of us. She always needs my...
Hendeft is the problem?
Well,
The
I
woman-
never
Would've
specializes in blowing shit up.
She does. It's her job. I just supply her with the tools to do so.
You are the one who sells the gasoline, and she is the one who lights it on fire. Good to know.
Correct.
Neraina just
Arson
kind
is
of
fun.
grins at that statement, like,
Arson.
yeah.
I've known
Arson.
Hendeft since we were little children. I've known her for many years, and of course, unfortunately, we were both recruited by the same people to go on this job. And, as Caro knows, we have been doing a job for his mother, Chandria. And we came back with information when, Caro, you've gotten yourself into a right problem, haven't you?
Excuse me.
Again, when one has limited options, one has to take drastic measures.
Caro?
What happens now?
Oh, no, the problem we had back in the Unseelie Court, it's rearing
yeah,
its
that.
ugly head again.
Oh,
Oh,
Again,
What?
limited outs require extreme solutions.
Karrokhan,
these
what is
sim-
happening?
in the simplest of explanations, how fucked are we?
Mog, with two of his courtiers, is currently speaking to council and is asking
Oh,
for
he's
Caro's
here.
head. Yes.
oh, for the love of the gods!
Ah,
Good.
And half the court is
Ah.
arguing to give up Caro because there are more suited people for the heir of the throne.
That
Well, they
he's
can
here.
Immortal
right off.
heirs.
That
I
he's
just-
here complicates
don't
things
even-
so
I
much
don't-
because it means that we can't just present our information to our side of the court because we risk presenting everything we know to the enemy, and then they know that we know. So we need to find a way to present it to everyone on our side without presenting it to everyone not on our side.
Good luck
Wait,
with
Others
that.
could
If
have
what little
mentioned that.
Wait, stop. Stop. Just stop for a second.
Yes, Violet?
We've got representatives of the Unseelie Court who are here. The Unseelie Court is connected to Kaname. How much you want to bet that she had a hand in pushing Mab?
Oh
is
my
anything
Shocked.
is anything out of the
fits.
realm of possibility at this point? No, I'm starting to think not.
This fits,
Well-
and it ups my suspicion that Koname has orchestrated a lot more than we otherwise would think.
Why don't we scare her?
How?
Hold
Not a good idea. You never
up.
ever play your hand cards in front of Koname.
Okay. So what this does is basically just confirm that Kaname sees me specifically as a threat, as opposed to the entire crew.
Yes and no.
Well-
Is Koname aware of your possession of the amulet?
Probably.
In which case, she nonetheless sees taking you out of the equation as removing a significant chunk of our ability. That is probably the single wild card. We have to understand that our ability to be as far as they're aware, anywhere at any given moment, is an immense wild card that they want off the table as soon as possible.
All right, we are assuming Kaname pushed this. Just to throw out the idea, since that is what we are doing here anyway, could it be a case of Mab going, oh, wait, he just killed my kid, and her having some last-minute maternal regret, just asking for the room?
Unlikely.
That
Unlikely.
seems to be what Mother thinks.
If that's the highest probability. Honestly,
I think
I'm
it's more
getting-
likely that Mab simply decided it would simply plotted this from the beginning and decided I can fake this, get him to kill, and then
I
use
need
that
a
as
break. I
And
feel like I'm about to
y'all
explode.
hold.
Oh, go ahead, Caro.
Mog has no ground to stand on. It was a legal duel that
Can you prove
Mab
it?
agreed to. They have no room here.
Can you prove it?
Yes.
How
Vi speaks up. All of us were there. Liza,
You
you...
were all there. Mog was there.
Yeah. So it's multiple people against one person.
So we're back to Kaname pushed this, potentially. I try not to deal in
I'm
absolutes with
not
stuff like this,
saying
but it sounds
that
like
Kaname pushed this. I'm saying that Mab is an idiot.
Be
That's
careful
one
how
hell of
loud
a
you say
statement.
that.
Stupid issue that she cannot win.
Unless this is a smaller part of a larger plan that we don't see yet.
Oh, everything's a part of the plan at this point. It
Maybe this is
seems
just a
like.
stall. Maybe this is
Maybe.
solely to stall the court from something bigger.
All right. So, is this something we need to deal with now? Like, does this need
Probably.
to
If
I
I'd like to
doubt-
keep my head, yes.
Okay, so we cannot wait.
I
We can't wait
sus-
for Jonathan and Owen at this point, is what you're saying.
I don't think we need to. The core contingent on this is that we have to address this if we want to present the information we've learned to Titania. This is not something that particularly requires the group of hunters. So
Fair
we can
enough.
still do this and then wait for them once it's done.
To be fair, they weren't even there, were they? So they wouldn't be.
Exactly.
They wouldn't know.
They wouldn't know. All right.
This
So,
solves a lot
I guess-
of things. We can at least coordinate
Let
information.
me. Okay. I'm going to ask you this, Carol. How do you want to deal with this? This involves your head and your life more
Well-
than anyone. You know you know that we'll stand by you no matter what. But I just want to hear what your opinion is and what you think we should do.
Well, I've been requested to bring the lot of you to stand before the court.
Nope, nope, nope. I can't do that. Nope.
Why
I
not?
already
You're
feel like I'm
gonna
gonna.
fucking have to.
Carol, if I end up blowing up the entire courtroom because of how stressed I am, I'm blaming it on you.
Do you want me
Violet.
to die?
Violet,
Obviously not.
Violet, we don't
Violet.
have a choice. We really
Violet.
don't. We are out of options. Again.
surely we can ask the court or someone involved to give us some form of suppressant to reduce the damage that happens in the event that your wild magic does take flight. We're in the most powerful place in the Feywild. We can find something that protects all of us.
Dare I say, what probably exists is, do you recall how magic was disabled at the ball?
Yes.
Those protections were put in place by the Seelie.
Chances
There's no
are
way
they
the
already
courtroom
exist.
doesn't carry that protection.
Well,
And
we'd
if
be
you do
without
manage to
magic, but
break
if
through
that
that-
gives us the chance, then
We'll be without magic, they'll be without magic.
true. And some of
You
us
will
know
be
how to.
without magic.
Hmm.
I've got a
I
thing.
mean,
Cheats, hacks, report. Report to
I
them.
know people.
Unfair.
That's why I have a thing.
you know, of course, you know people.
You
We
know
all know
people.
people. Anyway,
We all
and
do.
if someone, on the off chance, someone decides to attack without magic, looks at Neraina will look at Silric. Some of us gestures between, well, almost all of us. I think we all know have a little bit of ability to fight without magic, and I know
Something gun.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Something gun
So
and dagger.
We won't be completely defenseless should someone try something other than magic.
I would
Yeah.
hope that in court nobody would try to do that, but who fucking knows at this
At
point?
the again, as you say, at this point,
In any
Alright.
case, we need to stand before the court. But we shouldn't bring up Haname. That
No.
feels like a very bad idea, particularly in front of Bab's kid.
I agree.
absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed.
However,
we can raise
I-
that before the court after.
The question
Or,
is, how much
I
of what
may-
we've learned that does pertain to Koname do we just not talk about? Because we can not talk about Koname and still bring up all of our documents, or we don't talk about them at all, or something in between. Where are you thinking?
This issue doesn't pertain to what we've been doing in the slightest. This issue is specifically my duel with Mab's kid.
Okay.
Guys,
so
Therefore,
just-
we don't need to raise anything. What's up?
We've
okay.
got one teeny tiny, and I do mean tiny, wrench in that, and she will gesture to Amara. What are we going to do with Amara?
How much do you trust your cat?
Trust is not a concern when I'm around. That cat is getting nowhere near her.
She will look up at Astra and kind of look for any sign of, because I don't have speak with animals.
Her tail is just kind of
Astra.
swishing.
Astra, can I trust you to not eat the pixie?
her tail kind of swishes, and you watch as she hops over to Amara, like from your shoulder, and then circles around the base of her feet. This kind of topples Amara over a little, and Amara kind of just lands in the cat's fluff.
Okay, I think we can. Okay, I think we can
Oh,
trust
that's
the cat.
adorable. That's
Astra
adorable.
is now the library cat.
Violet will kind of pet Astra's head.
She just kind of purrs and then circles a little bit closer to Amara.
Amara, Astra, Amara. Now that you are introduced, do with the cat as you wish.
Well, within reason, but
Within reason.
Try not to piss the cat off.
Damn,
I
Cats
guess
are
we-
known to be vindictive creatures.
I guess the next question is, do we leave Astra and Amara here? Do we put them somewhere in the castle so they could be safe and nearby, so when we are done with this, we all just regroup? What should we do?
Honestly, this all dependent on how the following plays out. I'd say we can't really decide that until at least we get a bit more information.
I think they should be safe here, so long as they stay mostly out of sight.
Right,
This
well,
is a
you hear
large
that, Astra.
library.
Liza
You hear that, Astra?
speaks
Stay out
up.
of sight.
So
I
undocumented.
can stay with them.
Right.
You
Is
were
Kalilri
there, so
standing
we might-
before court?
So was Kalilri, and she's in there.
I guess as long as we have one of you, sure.
Yeah, just as long as Amara's not alone.
I'll keep them safe.
Thank you.
I'm
I
going
appreciate
to
it.
turn to Amara and say, does that sound fine?
Amara just shakes her head yes.
You can take a nap on the cat.
You earned it.
Okay.
Are we
Wants
ready to go to
stand
court?
before court?
Totally
If
not
you've
terrified.
got fancy clothing on you, feel free to put it on, but I don't think we brought that.
Nope, you
So-
did not.
Are we really just about to show up in court in casual clothes?
Should we get a suit?
We don't have time.
We don't have.
Are
time.
they really going to care?
This is
do,
the
I
Fey
doubt
court,
it.
not a corporate executive chair meeting.
Well,
They
we're about to
know
find out if they do.
Adventurers.
Out of
And you're
character,
there
is
for it,
insight
so you
something?
have
Is insight something I have to do like a verbal thing for? Or is it something I can do without someone
Sight's
noticing?
not a spell.
It's not a spell.
Insight
It's
is just
Okay.
a skill
That's a
of
skill.
investigating.
My Neraina is just kind of, I think at this point, hearing Caro talk to Liza like that and having one person in her life already to kind of turn her, I think Neraina would like to use insight on Liza just to see if anything is off, because
Frankly, I wanna do the same.
her paranoia is kicking in.
Sure. What are you trying to
paranoia.
glean?
Is Liza on the up and up? Is she on our side?
Okay, roll me that inside.
I want to do the same. I just want to see could I'm suspicious after Caro pointed out that Lysa has been in the same area as us.
That
Never-
nat
never mind,
20,
that's finished.
nat 20. 27.
17. That ignore mine.
With that nat 20, you know Lysa very well. When you look at her, she looks older than what like the past few months have been hard on her. Like she's not that youthful woman as you remember her when she was training you several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
In her voice, she sounds worried. But it's also the sound of there's nothing that seems to come off her that would give you any sort of inkling that she's lying.
Okay.
She's told you the truth this whole time, especially you've heard her talk about her relationship with Kaluri before, and you know that they've been close friends their entire lives. Like, they've been together for a while.
Okay. Neraina's gonna look at everyone real quick and just go, Liza, can I have a word with you a second alone? Just for a second.
Yeah.
Before we go do this, looks at everyone else. Is that okay?
Oh, go for it.
Okay. She'll I don't know if Silric follows or not, but if he does, Neraina's not going to say anything, but she's going to take Liza a little further into the rows of books just to get a little bit
He'll
of
stay
privacy.
behind.
Okay. She'll kind of Neraina will kind of squeeze his hand as she walks by, just, as they do now. So.
Yes.
And then when they get back a little further, she's just going to look at Liza and go, Liza, are you okay?
She'll sigh. It's been a very long year.
Yeah. Yeah, it has.
I'll admit I'm tired. But there's no way that I can stop. Not now.
I don't think any of us can stop anymore, can we?
No.
We're all caught up in the tide. I just wanted to check in with you. You've been busy while we've been busy, and I didn't really get a chance to check on you after everything, so...
Yeah, which is understandable.
And then Neraina's gonna gently throw her arms around Liza and give her a hug and just go, I've missed you, though.
She's
so
gonna
much.
give you a tight hug back.
I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad to be back.
Okay, yeah, so sorry about that. Just with everything going on, I find myself wanting to check in with my people,
It's okay.
Okay. You'll let us know if anything happens, right?
I will.
Okay. And she'll just kind of grin at her and walk back to the others.
And she'll return with you. Okay.
Right, let's go face a court, I guess.
So
Yay.
the group of you head over to the courtroom. Chandria has been waiting at the door for you. She guides the group of you in. However, from here, we will head over to Club Euphoria.
I aroused from my slumber.
I too aroused from my slumber.
Arise!
Arise! I'm gonna have everyone see this part, so there you go. So everyone can see. Anywho's, the group of you head over to the room that Jonathan and Valerie have been using. As the group of you continue talking, researching things, getting on your computers to just kind of look up possible ways to kind of get more information. Jonathan and Owen, you hear a crash at the door, and then something sliding down what seems like the wall.
That bears investigation, doesn't it? And I think Owen is closest to the door.
Yeah, I'm.
Doesn't mean Jonathan isn't going to move closer to the door, but Owen is probably going to get there first.
Sir, could you describe the sound in more detail than just sliding down the wall, or?
So, How do I describe this?
Is it fast? Is it slow?
Like some. Have you ever run into a door?
Yes.
No.
Have you
Like
ever seen a
someone.
cartoon that has slammed into a door?
Like, you know, like when the cartoon guy runs into the door and then the face slides down the front part of it? It's that noise.
The sound.
Okay. I'm just going to gently open the door then.
As you open the door, you are greeted with the sight of a blonde-haired man. However, the blonde hair is slightly speckled with red blood.
Oh shit.
You see Christian laying on the ground, holding his side, his face kind of like he's laying almost flat on the ground. And as you open the door, Jonathan, you actually see this first. You see his bloody palm print that has kind of creased down the front of the door.
I think we should get him into the room as
He's
fast as possible.
certainly come to the right place. Let's get you onto the bed.
Yeah, we'll worry about the sheets after.
Okay, so Jonathan, you and Owen pick him up.
Yeah, like between the two of us,
Yep.
there should be no problems.
Okay, so you two take him over to the bed. Do you close the door?
Yes.
I
Okay.
feel like that would be common courtesy when dealing with wounded person.
Also, if I recall correctly, I have a vague memory that at some point Valerie gave me a sort of healing potion green thing that I did not fully use.
Yes,
I should still have that, right?
you do.
Well, now would be the time to use it, wouldn't it?
Smart man.
Happy DM noises.
Look, I
Happy
remember the
Nick
detail. I'm proud of me now.
Are you proud of me, Mom? Okay. So you rush over looking at Christian. He's holding his side. His hands are covered in his blood. His face looks pretty beat up, like he took a few good hits to the face. And he seems to be like his whole shirt on one side is just covered in blood. It's stained. Owen, since you are standing right there, you can roll me a medicine check.
I shall indeed. Ba-da-ba-ba. Where? 24.
24, you start lifting up the layers of Christian's clothes, and you find a bullet hole that is lodged into his side. It seems that the bullet has even gone as far to slightly shatter, and as you look at his skin, it looks to be that the gunshot was fairly close ranged.
I'm going to need a bit more of a sterile environment to work on this.
Valerie kind of shakes her head, getting out of her shock. She runs over to her chest here and starts pulling out things. She kind of tosses you over a box. I have gloves here. I think there's a sewing kit in there. What the fuck happened?
one of you go downstairs, get a bottle of vodka I can use as disinfectant. I need alcohol for this.
Jonathan is probably going to do that, but also, like, wherever he's keeping the healing thingy, he's going to hand that over to Owen first with a sort of very brief explanation of what it is. And then hustle. Where's downstairs? This way's downstairs.
Yeah. So you head downstairs, rushing down, taking 2-3 steps at a time, just rushing down. You make it to the first floor, passing by Victoria and Liam, who were talking, and rush into the bar area. You see the main bar man, who seems to be cleaning up his continuum of glasses, and you see a variety of stacked bottles that are on the bar. He seems to have moved them to start cleaning the back area.
Alright, time is of the essence, so Jonathan is going to very briefly request a full bottle of vodka and just slap a 50 note on the table.
He's gonna look at you weirdly, hand you a bottle of vodka.
A very brief, polite nod, and then hustle back upstairs.
Again, passing by Victoria and Liam, them kind of watching you rush by. You again go up 2 flights of stairs, taking 2 to 3 of them at a time. You make it to the top of the stairs, panting as you rush back to the room.
Just, being busy, being out of breath, he's just gonna wordlessly hand the bottle over.
I am going to put my combat medic skills to use and start doing impromptu surgery on Christian.
Just gonna lean against the door and catch his breath.
It's like you're hunched over, just panting. So,
no one can say he did not get the bottle in a very sensible amount of times.
It took you maybe 5-10 minutes to go back and forth. Yeah, you did.
Well, 5
maybe
to 10
5.
minutes.
Maybe 5 minutes. By the time you rushed down and came back up.
Downstairs, got a bottle, ran back up. Like, how big are those stairs?
That should have taken him 3 minutes most.
It should have taken. If I'm hustling, that should take a minute.
We don't need.
Hey, seriously.
We don't need specifics.
Of how long it took.
Yes, we do.
I'm going to need another medicine check for you. From you.
Boy.
Oof. I'm gonna fake that.
You're gonna fake it?
Wait, do you have inspo? Do you have inspo?
I do. We all have that free.
We all have an inspo. Yeah.
You do have a free inspo.
I'm not gonna fate it. I'm gonna inspo it.
Okay.
You're welcome.
26.
With a 26, you work quickly, taking out the tools that Valerie gave you. Valerie hops up on the other side of the bed to kind of hold Christian down, knowing what you have to do next. You quickly pour over the vodka into the tray, almost into this container that all the tools are in, sanitizing them with the vodka. You take a rag soaked in this clear alcohol and you start to clean around the wound. You can feel as Christian even goes to wince as you start to clean it up. You start to take the tools.
If the med kit I'm using doesn't have any sort of painkillers in it, I will give him something to bite down on.
It does not have any doesn't have any painkillers. However, you do have a variety of different rags. So you shove it into his mouth to keep him quieter. I'm gonna need another medicine check for you.
Just keep him quiet. Just give him something else to focus on.
I'm gonna need another medicine check from you to start to sew him up.
16.
16. It's not the best job that you've ever done, but it does pass. You've done this a few times as you are a combat medic. You have had to sew up wounds like this, as well as you have had some practice. And as you finish the last stitch, you watch at this point, Christian has lost consciousness from the pain and is breathing slowly. As you check over him, the wound has been cleared up and it is just slightly seeping now as you continue to bandage it.
With that job done, I'm gonna take off the gloves, wipe the sweat off my brow. That's as best as I could do in a hotel room.
How long has it been now since he started?
It's probably been 20 to 30 minutes.
Alright, so Jonathan has probably caught his breath by now, you know,
Yes.
from his impromptu Olympic performance. So he's got to go over and investigate. Yeah, and you did remove the bullet, right?
You said the bullet was kind of fragmented, right?
It was fragmented, yes.
Hollow point?
As much as possible, but it was fragmented. There could still be shards in there. It'd be difficult to check without proper equipment.
Alright, we'll get him to a proper hospital later then, but... Oh, just... Where are the fragments right now? Like, just...
You see the fragments in the kind of metal tin that the kit was in.
Alright, so can the three hunters now collectively try to clock if this bullet seems at all like something a hunter would use?
Roll me a history check with advantage.
All three of us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
You'll have
this
to
is
roll
the
for Valerie, I do not have
the
her sheet.
equivalent of 6 history checks. One of us has to get it.
What's my
Imagine
history
if you get 6
modifier?
nat ones in a row.
Please
Don't
don't
jinx
jinx
it.
yourself. I was gonna say,
That-
say that you're
Okay,
going
so
to ask
9.
for a jinx.
Oh, nat
20.
20.
You
Okay,
don't
we
even
don't need to
need
roll
the
anymore. We don't need to.
Yeah. That is okay. I should.
I'm
stop
not even
talking.
gonna
I'm
roll
like-
for Valerie at that point.
Yeah, don't bother. Just...
You have seen this sort of bullet before, Owen. There was an accidental shooting that was done at the practice range when you were practicing in your early years at the Hunter Society, and you remember having to fix up the person because what had happened was the bullet had accidentally shot out of the gun and ricocheted, and the fragments went into multiple people.
Sounds like a Connor thing that would have happened. Sounds like a Connor thing. Yeah. Yep, this is definitely a society bullet.
It's just Jonathan's just gonna blankly stare for a few seconds. Take a very deep sigh. And let me look at the room layout for a moment. Presumably he's at this point moved up. So, Nessie, you see that chair down there in the left bottom corner?
Yeah?
About how heavy would you say that is?
Average weight of a chair. About
I
20
think,
pounds.
Oh no.
That's definitely manageable. It's probably wooden, right?
Yep.
So it's something that
Oh,
if you
no.
were to propel it into a wall with sufficient force, it would shatter in a satisfactory way.
Roll a strength check for me.
I mean, it doesn't really matter if it shatters. It's more about
Cathartic thing.
Stress relief.
Stress
what's my
relief.
strength?
He's throwing a chair because he's angry.
Oi.
13.
Oh,
With
Ooh.
a 13, this is a pretty hefty chair for you. You grab it and just throw it as hard as you can, and it just kind of hits the wall and clatters down to the ground. Not
Do it again.
shattering.
No, he's not gonna do it again. He's just gonna walk over to the chair, right it, and then sit down in it.
Yeah.
Does the chair break because it's damaged when he sits?
No.
Aw.
Like basically, like legs fully outstretched, slid down the chair halfway, and just
Good.
elbows on the armrest, head in his hands at this point. Just
There
deep
goes my
breaths.
retirement plan.
Valerie will speak up after sitting back from Christian on the bed. Do we assume that this is Gerald, or do we assume it's McAllister?
We assume nothing. We ask the afflicted person at the first opportunity.
That opportunity should be soon. Can't be too much more time until you're due to meet him.
I don't want
Talking
you-
about Christian.
On that topic, I don't want you going to Gerald.
I'm not going to Gerald until I speak with Christian. I'll tell him something came up. It's not the first time. We never control when these things happen, after all. Unless he does. Might make him suspicious if he is in fact responsible for it. But in that case, he's going to be suspicious no matter what we do.
After a few moments of silence sitting there, you hear a groan come from Christian.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
Ah, my head. I guess thanks, Doc. Oh, fuck. I feel like I've been kicked by a horse.
Well, you have been shot by a gun, so presumably the pain level is similar.
Kind of. Fuck. He's gonna kind of open his eyes, blink for a second. How did I end up here?
Well, it looked to me as
slammed
if you
into the door.
Okay.
Different question. What's the last thing you remember?
I had just ordered a taxi to get back here.
And this was before you were shot.
Clearly. I was calling to update you, Jonathan, but my phone wouldn't go through, so I decided to call in a cab, and all of a sudden a searing hot pain washed over me.
That would be the bullet, I would assume.
That does leave the question of how exactly you managed to get to our door from Seth. Which also out of character, if it was literally just Christian trying to get to us, he would have tried the other door. Because we're only in this room because we changed rooms. Usually we'd be in the other one. Because this is specifically Valerie's room, and to be fair, Jonathan is also here a lot of the time, but... No. Not impossible to go for this room first, but it is unusual.
Perhaps Nessie forgot.
No.
Yes, I am account. That is a possibility, but either he somehow managed to forget how he got here despite not having a head injury, or someone brought him here.
Well, there's one easy way to check. He was bleeding quite a lot. I imagine he left at least some amount of splatter. Simply trace it back to... If he walked here himself, then it will lead out well outside of the club, and well, if he was driven here by someone, it'll start presumably just outside on the road.
I bring him here after wounding him, unless the two parties are unrelated, in which case they're okay, no point thinking about this.
A warning, perhaps?
A warning only makes sense if it makes it clear what it is warning you about. This is way too ambiguous to be a warning. This could be anyone warning us of anything. If this was a warning, the person who tried to give it to us is an idiot.
Perhaps whoever brought him here wasn't the person who shot him, then.
Which still leaves the question of motivation. Question who, why are currently the most important ones. Who more so than why? Step one in figuring out the who, follow the trail. So, time to get up from the slouch.
Go for it again.
So, if you don't mind watching over the patient for a little longer, Doctor, I'm going to go follow a trail. So, close the door behind him. And is there a visible trail? Like, the carpets are red, but they would also be wet wherever the blood is, so you should be able to see
Yes,
it.
you
Also,
see.
blood tends to stain red fabric brownish.
Yes,
Yeah,
there
because
is.
it's just dark.
There is a clear trail. As you look at the door, you can see where his handprint even hit the door, and it went down all the way to the floor. And as you look around the corner, you see the trail head through the hallway, and subsequently you see his handprint as he was climbing up the stairs.
All right. Which stairs, left or right?
These.
All right. So let's follow the trail.
Okay, you head down the stairs. However, back to the other group.
Watch
Oh,
there
boy.
be like Deus Ex janitor who's already cleaned
Yeah.
up the trailers.
You head in
Janitor.
to this beautifully adorned courtroom. It is, as you enter, the air feels warm and welcoming. The smells of pumpkin, apple, and cinnamon waft around you and engulf you in this amazing scent. Caro, your mother leads you through a set of halls and down a set of stairs where you meet a large fairy guard who steps to the side and lets the group of you pass. The 7 of you, or the 8 of you rather, enter through the stairs and around this large oak tree. As you make it into the main area, Caro, or I should say the group, you see this room surrounded by various Fae warriors. You see at the top of this courtroom, you see as their full figures, larger than life, Titania dressed all in white with a thorn and ivy crown atop her head, and next to her in his more humanistic figure, Oberon next to her in the other seat. You see council members surrounding this oak as you walk down the stairs with Chandria and head into the inner sanctum area. You
Neraina
enter.
is going to grab Silric's hand and just kind of she's going to hide that she's scared, but she's squeezing the fuck out of his hand right
He's
now.
also squeezing a hold of yours. However, as the group of you go towards the center, further into this sanctum area, I think that this is a good place to stop for this evening. You guys have made it to court. Some fun and interesting things have happened today. I think this was a fun place. This brought some excitement and some...
This was a good coming back.
Yeah! Sorry it has to be cut short. Usually we would go on for an entire another hour. But of course, I want to eat food. I also have a lot of stuff that I have to do this evening yet. And I do want to rest and relax with my own family.
Cool.
So I think that this is a good place. I hope everyone had fun.
Yeah.
Some fun, interesting
Went about
things.
as I expected it.
Yeah.
See, Nessie, I'm not stupid.
I never said you were.
I saw
No.
this coming a mile away.
Yeah. There's not really anyone online today, so we're just going to end today's session with a farewell, and I hope everyone enjoyed this evening. On Sunday, we have Baldur's Gate, which will be fun. We're finally getting back to that after so long. Yay, so we finally get to Baldur's Gate, and Monday, or I should say Tuesday, we'll be back to streams like normal. So again, have a wonderful day, guys. Remember, stay safe, stay hydrated, stay happy, and bye-bye!
Bye.
Bye!
Bye.